We're taking a look at an assortment of portable sharpeners from Lansky, and we've got quite a variety here. We'll take a look around. I've taken them out of the packages so we can get right to them. We'll just start out over on the side here. We've got the Multi-Sharpener. This one is meant to be held in the hand between a couple of fingers like this, and then like with a stone, the blade can be sharpened. It's got it's basically a triangle, so it's got two flats, and then this flat has a channel down the center, and that channel you can use for fish hooks, for sharpening fish hooks, or for maybe a dart, anything with a point. These are rubber. The edges are rubber. They're not just slapped on and ignored. They're they're definitely on there. They're probably glued or else just fitted very well. It's not going to fall apart. It has this keychain. I'm not the biggest fan of keychains, but it seems to be on here pretty decent. So oh, and then the rubber forms sort of a cup, so it definitely feels good in the hands, nice and solid. There's no question that you're going to be able to hold on to this, and obviously that's important because you've got a blade moving here, but I don't think there'd be any problem holding on to that. We've got one similar to it here, the mini dog bone sharpener, which again has the same kind of features. On this one I can spin this one, so I guess they're not glued on, but it took a little effort. I don't know if you can tell in the video, it took a little effort for me to pull that out of there. So it's definitely on there to stay. It's got the same sort of cups, so it stays real easily in the fingers. This one is a cylinder or rod shape, and again it would be used like that to edge back on a blade. The packaging has some information about the other sharpeners when the instructions are on the back, and basically it says that you would do this 3 to 5 times to get, and that's definitely working, to get that edge back on the blade. Okay, so that's the two of that style. One thing I noticed too is that this one's triangle shaped, but the cups are round. But one thing about this little tab for the keychain is that it doesn't roll off a table. That stops it from rolling. So I don't know if that was just a clever accident or if it was intentional, but definitely useful because this one definitely likes to roll, but it can really only roll that far. So these are nice. I'd probably replace the keychain with a piece of cord, but at least you have that option on a cylinder shaped unit. You don't always get an option to put a cord on, so far those look pretty decent. Next up is the Speedy edge sharpener. Oh, and I should have mentioned prices, I'm sorry. The Multi-Sharpener, first off, there's nothing really that we're looking at today that costs more than about $25. These are two of the less expensive. These are $8 actually on their website. Next one up is an even cheaper one. This one's $3.50, so not an expensive item. Very well built, very solid. Now this one doesn't look like it's replaceable, so for $3.50 it's the only thing out here that you really can't replace the blades on. Couldn't be easier though. Comes in a cardboard with a clamshell, and there's an instructional image there because really that couldn't be easier. You're going to hold this in your hand and you're going to pull your blade through, and it's plenty wide for just about any blade. Left-handed, right-handed, no problems at all. So very comfortable in either hand, and I should have mentioned that these are comfortable whether you're right or left-handed. Next up, very similar to the Speedy edge sharpener, is the Quick Fix. This one has a little bit more to it, so it costs a little bit more, but it's only $6, so it's still not super expensive. This one has the carbide blade type sharpeners, it looks like, on this side, and the ceramic on the bottom side. Yeah, it says tungsten carbide, and then crook sticks, or crock sticks, which is what they call these ceramic rods that they put at an angle. This center portion, I don't know if you can tell in the video, is rubberized. So this one is just solid plastic, but the word Lansky there actually gives some texture, gives some grip for your fingers. So this one's fairly comfortable and secure and easy to use. This one is in a different way. It's hard to explain, but inside of there it's shaped like a cushion, so it's sort of an oval or a pill shape in there. There's something to hold on to. While this one is flat and you're pinching your fingers together, this one you're holding football, like a squished football shape rubber pad here. So very easy to hold, no matter if it's right-handed, left-handed, and really at multiple angles. You can see that the plastic is molded to create a shield for your fingertips, just in case something were to slip off. And it has a hole here for a lanyard. A little tight for a 550 cord. I would have to gut the 550 cord to get it through there, but I might use some other type of cord to attach to this one, mostly so that if it's in a bag or in a pocket of a bag, that it's, you know, it's going to slip to the bottom. It's easy to pull out and find. This one's in a black color. I think they make it in other colors, but like I say, this one is $6. And what you would do is you'd use the carbide side to, you know, get the edge sort of roughly, and then use these Crock sticks to, which are a finer grit, to hone the edge. So real nice one, again, for, you know, for under $10, under $8. This one is pretty decent multi-tool basically. Next to it you have the quick edge. This one is also $8. This one would be better for like a kitchen. It's going to last a little longer, probably, just because, you know, it's larger, and maybe not something you take in your pocket for sure, but something you might keep in a patrol kit, or the kit you might bring for camping for the kitchen. So it's got a plastic finger guard here. It's plenty big enough. I have fairly large hands, and there's plenty of room here. I could even have gloves on. I'm sure I could have winter gloves on and still use this easily. It's not so big though that, you know, it's oversized. There's plenty of texture to the way it's molded, and very comfortable, very secure. You can see that there is a screw here, so I'm guessing that these carbide, tungsten carbide cutting heads can probably be reversed to double their life, and then replaced if necessary. All the instructions are here, and like most of the pull-throughs, you want to have your knife down on its back and pull the cutter over the blade. Very well made, very lightweight. We'll weigh these in a moment. Next up would be the Lansky mini knife sharpener. Now this one is the ceramic Crock sticks. This one's only $5 on their website. We got plenty of room here, so it looks like it would work with an axe, you know, or with something large. And it says hook sharpener, so I'm guessing there's a hook sharpener somehow on here. I'll have to look at that in the instructions. Oh, I guess you would take the rods off. The rods can be placed in the provided groove and manually held side by side in the provided groove for sharpening fish hooks, darts, or other pointed objects. It looks like I could just take these rods out, unsnap them, and give it a little assistance there. I can take these out. It says hold them side by, put this knife down, hold them side by side, and then use that as a hook sharpener. And it sure as heck works. I wouldn't have believed it until I actually did it there, and it's actually not too difficult, so pretty clever. So I'm going to go ahead and put those back in though. This one went in first, and they just clip in. Obviously it doesn't look like it'd be too difficult at all if one of these got damaged or worn out to replace it. Looks like they're large enough, or the way that it's set up, you could flip these and have longer life. Large and small openings. It says provide access for pull through of wider things such as axes and hatchets. So basically you've got the smaller side here where you may want to sharpen a regular blade, and then if you needed something like a hatchet or an axe, you've got the larger sides there. Then of course the fish hook ability. So nice one, and again just $5, so not an expensive one either. Now we've got the ones across the top. All are folding or retractable. I'll start with the brass one. So this is the retractable diamond sharpening rod. It says it's a fine grit, and this one on the website is running. This is the most expensive one I think we've got here. This one is $19 on the website. It's very solid. The giant eyelet here, no problem putting some 550 through it. You basically give this a bit of a turn, like anything. It's a compression type thing. You tighten it again and it's going to stay in place. It's held by gravity. There's no spring or anything, so I can tighten it again. Now I noticed that when I tighten it, you really do have to really tighten it. Once you get it's a little loose, and then it tightens right up. So it does take a little effort to tighten it, but it is brass. It's got the channel for sharpening fish hooks and darts, and this one would work in this type of fashion. You'd hold this and then you'd bring the knife down. So pretty useful, definitely heavy duty, and definitely I would think this one would be a great option for a shop. So you could, if it fell on the ground, it's not going to break or anything. It's definitely going to last, a long time too, the way it's the type of construction. Next up is a folding diamond sharpening rod. So set up like a butterfly knife, the tool folds up into the handle. So it opens, and it doesn't really lock closed. It opens up and it doesn't really lock open, but there are these little sections that meet up so that it doesn't have, it doesn't flop around this way. So they're together. It's nice and easy to hold on to like this, which is great, but the way that the rubber is set up, as soon as you bring it around, the rubber is now all in the middle. So I'm not going to say it's the most comfortable thing, but it's not meant for something that you're going to use all day long either. It's not uncomfortable in the hand, so it's very lightweight, and it's held together with the rod itself is attached to this centerpiece, which is the same on all these models, and it's a blue, heavy-duty blue plastic polymer material. So again, this one would be held, pointed away from you, and you would bring your knife blade down and you'd adjust the angle by what angle you held it. And they say like you're cutting bread, so you basically go through the motion with your knife as if you were cutting through a loaf of bread, and you're holding the rod at the angle that you want your edge to become. So that's the first one. Is a fine grit, and it's a straight cylinder, straight rod. This next one is the diamond tapered sharpening rod. So it's a rat tail. It's tapered at the end, and you can see probably that it comes to a finer point. And I believe the reason for that is for the multiple sizes, and then doing the actual sharpening of the serrations on a serrated blade. Otherwise it's very similar. It's actually the same blue material here where it's connected to the handles. This one, I guess just because it's a little bit lighter up front, it doesn't seem the same as this. With so much heft up front, the empty back feels different in the hand than this one. This one just is so light it doesn't even feel like you're holding anything. Last up, we've got the diamond fishhook sharpener, which again is basically the same. It's just that it's in a white color, and although you can still use it as a knife sharpener, it's got 3 different size grooves down the cylinder, and for the various size fish hooks you might want to sharpen. Also, again, be great for darts. For dart players, this would probably be the one I'd buy, and any other thing that has a point to it that you need to keep sharp. So all the manuals or all the product information are in these heavy cardboard or heavy card material. A lot of them have just information about the other sharpeners if they're fairly straightforward, or if they're more complicated like some of these, then they have more thorough instructions inside. To bring out the scale, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the prices on these. The rat tail is $15. The standard was $15 also, and the fish hook one is also $15. So I guess I should just remember that these are all about $15. This is the most expensive, a couple of dollars more, and some of these go down to well under $5. We'll bring in the scale here just at the corner of the screen and go through these. So this one is the Quick Fix pocket sharpener, polymer material. It's 0.9 ounces. This one again is the quick edge. It's again skeletonized, so it's not a solid plastic, and it's 1.8 ounces. The mini dog bone sharpener, the rod with the rubber ends, is just 0.7 ounces. The mini knife sharpener weighs in at 0.7 ounces. The Speedy edge is the lightest out of the group, probably at 0.5 ounces. Next up is the Multi-Sharpener, the triangle shaped rod with rubber ends, and that one is 1.2 ounces. Next we got the diamond folding, and that's 1.8 ounces, very lightweight. The rat tail version of that at 1.2 ounces. We'll go to the diamond fish hook, and that's 1.6 ounces. And then last up is the heaviest at 3.5 ounces. So these knives really, or excuse me, these sharpeners really aren't going to take any weight in a pack. This one I would say is probably the largest, but it actually will probably be the most useful in a pack because of the ability to sharpen an axe with it. Even a shovel blade, you know, if you're doing cutting through roots and stuff, where a shovel blade is going to be important. Really all of these are great choices, and we're going to be taking them out next and sharpening some of our dull knives to see which work best and which are most effective, and you know, which have the most use. So stay tuned for that next, but it's a quick review of these Lansky pocket sharpeners.